Starting things off, a couple of small hiccups, but we're now getting straight into the pistol round. Advent starting off with the smoke and 2 flashes. You can see the same out on Sallow. On the other side of things, GR Gaming headed over for a classic B-side hit.
Yeah, and it seems like Jamyoung's not playing. Kami instead taking his place, so he'll have to put up a defense over on this B bomb site. Already finding 1, Mediocrity down for the count, and Kami actually converting on 2, getting more opportunities at it as well. GR Gaming have not been able to find the entries they were hoping for on this B bomb site, so this B hit ultimately falls flat.
I feel like I need to remind everyone Kami is like a 19-year-old guy or something around that. I'm not one to harp on ages, but being a coach at 19 always felt to me like, hey man, didn't you just give up playing pro a bit too early? And clearly he did. Look at this man. He's a beast with the pistols.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's, I think, 21 now, and 22 this year, so...
Well, there you go.
But once upon a time, you're 100% right, you know, like, when he joined Vici, I think he was, like, 19, 18 yes. Even, so it's, yeah, kind of ridiculous, but, yeah, fairly youthful dude. And, you know, the Rare Adam squad are fine with a few young'uns flowing around. It's where all their firepower seems to come from these days.
Oh. Kaze's out and over. Yakuza able to find that kill with a P250. Kaze will be forfeiting the MP9. Yakuza unfortunately doesn't have Kevlar behind it, so it's not like you can have too much of a chance of farming up some cash.
I mean, this is already solid damage. Getting their hands on an M4 as well when... You know, they probably reflect on the start of this round and think, well, if we had some armor alongside these pistols, it could have gone way better for us. We might be able to actually capitalize or convert on this round, but there's still always a chance as well. If Rare Adam get caught off by some of the positions, you see GR now re-diverting their attention to middle.
Mercury could be caught out in the open over here if he's actually going to be pincered down. If QQ God gets a quick dink or 2, maybe there's something to do about it. Yakuza will take him down and damage is continued. 2 versus 1. 3 kills for him so far. The one who's done everything and now setting up for what could be an eco round ace. He switches out for the Famas. Doesn't want to be going for the reload, but rather have the inferior firepower. Remember, Kami does have only Kevlar, no head armor. So pushing through the smoke out into the open could have been a real opportunity. But Mr. Yakuza will fall.
Fearless from Kami, really. I mean, Yakuza has found 4 kills in that round, and Kami just barrels through that smoke once he hears that bomb going down. There's no way you're anticipating that. Not from the coach. Guy's supposed to be... You know, usually coaches are mediators or supposed to temper the player expectations of, listen, you know, maybe calm down a little bit. But
Michael, I think you have to remember, maybe that's the entire point of why they needed a young coach, because Advent's an older guy, right? Advent's got the defensive setup going on, so Kami brings a fire. I like this little dynamic I'm making up in my head that probably doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, like the duality of most coaches.
You gotta have the right coat for your IGL. That's always the point. Kaze and QQ exchanging down middle. Kaze loses Mercury. And then QQ loses Yakuza.
Well, they have built the boost and are clearing out for apartments after losing mid control. I like that this is a counter reaction here from Rare Adam. Sometimes can be a little too stagnant, too stoic, but are really doubling in on this. Mosea, critical kill, Sallow. That could have been a real important punish, but now Rare Adam can actually clear B and actually assemble a boost on short. That Mediocrity didn't stand a chance in dealing with a couple of shots, but it's down to a 2-on-4 now.
Advent will be called upon as he starts to keep an eye out. Wecht. I'm not going to say that yet. Wecht has dropped down to Sandwich. And straight in for the bomb plant. So at least they will be able to guarantee money. Wecht will be traded. Advent's demise is quickly compensated for. And QQ left alone a 1-on-3. And very little to do over here. Needs to be able to actually try and take care of Kami before he rotates through. But he hears the flashbang. Expects Mosea to push forward. Kaze is low as well. Kami's just covering off the window. And once again, very critical kill towards the end of the round.
Yeah. Nice patience there from Kami as well. His teammates were running out through CT and he didn't move an inch, understood exactly where QQ was last seen, and his possible re-diverts, bomb planted frontside triple, and, you know, Connector's a fantastic post plant to get to if you can even attain it, so Kami never left his spot. There's been a couple of threatening moments, but ultimately a 3-0 start for Rare Adam that they're going to be content with. If we start entering the arc where we're at to make like perfect counter-aggressive moves on CT sides, I think it will only benefit them in the long term.
I like that we're both fantasizing about things. Of course, you're, you know, maybe theory crafting is the word you'd like to use, but we all know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you got to see it to believe it.
Of course, Advent was a bit of a crazy guy. Up against Clutch the last week when we caught them. It's pushing pretty insanely on the T side, especially in Inferno is the map that I'm thinking back to, where it's had a pretty consistent performance all across the series, to be fair.
You see Mediocrity get involved as well on the GR gaming side. Definitely one of the standout performers for GR in their previous season. They have incredible pop-offs. So far it started silent, and well, that's a little aggression there from Kaze. Even Mosea taking a fancy at it, but the flash peek in, it's trades galore. It's a total scrap in middle, and Rare Atom are left worse for wear. 40 seconds, and there's still 3 more players to find. Kami kind of caught between which bomb site is actually going to be targeted, but Mediocrity finally pulling the trigger on the lurk through A. It's a scrappy state of affairs, but GR pick apart the mid-round aggression of Rare Atom.
And also pick apart the economy. Let's not forget that. The money is demolished. Rare Atom's got absolutely nothing in the tank, and they will be going for the full eco if I'm not wrong. To be honest, even with the full eco, their next round buy is pretty bad, so maybe just go for the buy over here, and yep, that's what they're going for instead. Obviously, so far, we've not had any requirement to mention the lack of Jamyang. Kami sitting on 5 and 1, but I'm sure later on that is going to be a presence that is sorely missed should things get a little bit wonky-tonky.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That rifling trio. All of Advent's pupils. Yeah, you like him as a 3-piece.
Close range MP9s. This could be problematic. Only issue is that Kaze has a smoke and not a flashbang, so you can't actually flash into a main. Otherwise, this could be leading into a quick little set of kills as well. To go the other way around, we know how deadly the MP9s can be at close range. Kaze. Solitary smoke has been expended. Mediocrity is looking like he's lining up a top con smoke, and if they don't have the close flashes, this is going to be really problematic. Top con smoke leading in with a deep jungle as well, and it's Kaze with the Deagle picking up the first. There's no more responses yet. Yes, there are a second kill. Kaze comes up big. Mercury unable to drop down because of the Molotov flashbang. Will not be blinding QQ, but he gets the kill regardless. USP now pulled out, and Mediocrity is the only one fighting back. This is all falling apart as the Glock is pulled out, and the lack of head armor on Kami is really what ends up causing that to be a problem. Wow, okay, I didn't even realize there was one going. I was very confused about how that many kills had happened, and
there were still like players on the radar. No, I thought the same thing for a moment, but very, very close state of affairs there for GR. That almost certainly could have been a Rare Atom 1 round. Some fantastic shots being distributed there from Kaze. And then just the fact that they had an extra player on balcony, Rare Atom could just push and pull between the both like high and low defensive setups. Just didn't have the most ideal weaponry. And now onto an even worse buy with only USPs and the Deagle in Mosea's hands. I guess I have to mention Kaze on a P2K, but that's the standard for him as well. So it's been a bit tumultuous, been a few hiccups, perhaps, but this should be a nice, solid, clean round here for GR, all things considered.
Yeah, they should be finding the equalizer here, no problem. Mox jump up, turns around. Actually find out by Kaze. Kaze will be trading his life for it. Advent not too long for the world either. But yeah, easy. And they find themselves a round with 4 alive as well, so money will be padded just a little bit. Kaze now pulls out the AWP. Will not have a Molotov behind it, nothing of the sort. And actually, Molotovs are looking a little bit dry across the board. I only have a single one that's in Mercury's hands.
You haven't seen anything too hyper-aggressive from GR, but you like to have a Molotov to help establish mid-control, you know, mulling off those top mid boxes. And preventing them from just inserting a lurker there is usually quite key, but Mercury will throw that in that exact position, but it's immediately dispersed. They're already setting up outside of B for a hit, and considering Rare Adam have vacated this bomb site, Kami was supposed to be the last man to leave the site, but he sort of rendezvoused on short with his teammate, and so this entry, it's just simple as GR get control of the bomb site with just one kill.
Why do you even want to go back into a save overhead? GR still do have themselves some time before the smokes dissipates. The post-plant position is going to be maintained pretty easily, and Rare Adam, that's exactly what they're doing. They're funneling backwards, and they don't want to risk the buy in the next round. I have to say, I'm enjoying some of the stuff coming out from GR because it is a bit more buggy, but it's just, you know, these cute things that people don't try anymore. You saw the one-way smoke being deployed over there that blocks that vision from short as well, makes it slightly easier to drop down. Kami has to play closer, get right, rather than trying to double up back short or even go for the boost or anything like it. It's stuff like that which makes things maybe a bit telegraphed and easier to counter out in traditional CS, but it's also the novelty which makes it harder to respond to in that moment.
Was it the one way that you just throw inside of the apartment?
Yeah, in the corner, okay. Yeah. Yeah, normally the response to that is so clear-cut because you have to be throwing it from a little bit further back, then there's a Molotov, there's a grenade, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's not really all there from Rare Adam.
Yeah, they'll have more of that counter utility now available, but not likely to see that round built up again twice in a row for GR. Well, I'm back on it. Spin control heavy from pressure already being mounted from
GR as well, as we'll be able to find a couple of picks and try and move into the A bomb side at the back of them. You'll have to contend with Kaze and decide to double back. They realize the rotations should have been coming through at this stage. And it will be the B bomb set that we're headed over to.
Fast play, and Kami's got two. Mercury able to respond at the very least, but Rare Adam just don't have a foothold back on this bomb site now, and this 2-on-2 is going to be very difficult for them to crack into. GR have all the space and should be able to get this one converted over the line. See the hesitance from Rare Adam to progress.
Pretty tough to retake on the other side of things. Wecht is actually going to end up going down a bit awkward around the shells. The spray was Yakuza now all alone. A 1-on-2. And Yakuza finds the first one. Kaze's gone, looking for a bit more to come through on the other side of things. It's Advent holding the line. And will be able to find the kill and the clutch with it. Rare Adam back on the board.
Yeah, a little scrappy, but an eventual B-sided finish that GR just couldn't find Kami quick enough. You know, those 2 kills helped stress out the numbers enough that they could actually contest for this retake. Had there been an extra man alive, very likely that we would have seen Rare Adam save, considering they were running in with very little utility and just didn't have a whole lot of ground that they could safely retake with. So Kami's actually had some very, very high influence rounds, all things considered. They finally break past what was a little streak that GR had attained themselves. A 4th for Rare Adam. We'll see whether or not things change as well with their setup. Look at this. Mercury actually fighting with Advent for ramp control, and they'll win the trades 2-1. They'll happily make that exchange.
Well, Zaya's going to be the danger man at this point. He knows it. The problem is that he's being a bit more worried about the B bomb side with GR's tendencies of actually ending up there. The conditioning has gone well, but in the meanwhile, Yakuza's journeys to connector has not. Bomb will be recovered, and maybe that conditioning ends up just being something that comes back to bite them. A couple of good kills from Mercury in the round.
Yeah, what a recovery Mediocrity has had rather as well for the GR gaming side. Oh, sure, only getting 1 kill this round, but that's a bit of a mistake made here from Rare Adam. Such a big man advantage. They wanted information, and Mercury was the one to try and achieve that. GR gaming have time to reset. Back to spawn they go, and they can go to A or B alike. They will once again have to rely on Kami to make the right read. He'll act as first responder to help support either of these bomb sites.
At least he'll have time to respond. If you look over towards Mosea, he is so deep into things. And Kami given call out to try and focus a bit more on mid. We'll find Salo backs off. He's got very little HP to work off of, so he can just play defensive and make sure there's no one coming in from jungles. The connector smoke is a little bit iffy, but I don't think it should actually matter. Kaze scoped in through the gap, will not be able to spot out the player creeping through short. QQ should have at least an isolated duel to start things off. The question is, does he look the right way as he is committing to the bomb plant? Peek forward from Mosea, denies the bomb plant before it can go down, and Rare Atom will find themselves in the lead once again.
Gotta say, I know they were in a 2 versus 4 and it's a very hard situation, but Salo, the way he peeked middle, you know, just felt like he wasn't aware that anyone would even consider that as a possible redivert. He wasn't ready for a fight connector or window. I don't even think he was looking the right way, really. So perhaps a little confusing. Maybe he was convinced that somebody was top mid boxes. That's about the only thing I can consider. But ultimately, it looked like a relatively easy state of affairs there from Adam late round. Mercury mid-floor this time, just taking the fight initially. Did so alone as well. Had no support coming his way. Mediocrity as well with a chance, but some damage is all he'll find. No kill, but Kaze just floored.
Oh, he's going in for a little bit more. Mediocrity with the double. Completely cleans out the A-bomb side. Mercury's a connector play you have to still worry about, but Mediocrity doesn't worry about anything. This guy doesn't really live up to his name, Michael.
Yeah, I remember the first time we casted these guys, and I think it was actually like a Mirage. We made the same joke. The guy's pretty exceptional for a name like Mediocrity. See if they actually commit to this retake. We're at him 2 on 4. Kami naded, and damage is decent, but hasn't really distracted much from Mosea's position, and so QQ, that's a freebie, and Kami now just has to try and save this weapon. There's just no hope for winning this round. It's a tying round for GR, all off the back of Mediocrity's 3 kills, and he tried to make it 4.
I'm a little bit surprised. QQ got all the point. Can he find the kill? I'm a little bit surprised that Kami doesn't try and throw the flashbang out to assist with the push through the smoke. Maybe they just thought they would cast him off guard, but in a 2v4 it just seems so unlikely that that would be the case. Regardless though, great entries. Mediocrity just does it in style.
Yeah, just kind of ran at them and hit some lovely shots along the way. Oh, for sure that I think it was Mosea. Probably should have been able to get the kill from under Balk, but I hope. Let's not dice it too hard. Nice little double push. Okay, this is a heavy mid-aggressive setup here from Rare Adam, and GR were not prepared for that whatsoever. They're trying to get fast short. One of the few rounds they've actually tried to attain that ground in the early phases. And, well, that's certainly one way to be surprised. They were heavy mid themselves.
Oh,
that doesn't matter. Who cares? You know, they're 5 on 2 anyway. No one on GR is anywhere close to capitalize. We'll brush it under the rug. Kami's got the most kills on the Rare Adam side as the coach.
He can have a couple of coach moments. You know, I'd say that's all right.
He's probably just chilling out on his 10 kills, just thinking, this isn't so hard. I don't understand why we have so many difficulties.
It's like, I told him, shoot him in the head. I've got to show him too. Jamyoung's a good guy. You know, he really took one for the team so that Kami could try and set up a demonstration for the younger guns.
I mean, they almost had to use Kami at the RMRs, didn't they? Because Kaze was feeling quite ill, so.
Kami, however, is going to end up going down. The double peek to come through. Never fun to go into the bench angle regardless. The headshots are so difficult, but now Rare Adam, but pretty difficult situation. 5 on 2 to start things off. 15 seconds now as they are trying to commit over to the bomb plant. Mosea has once again found space. The damage from Advent is insignificant, and Kaze's position will at least come with the M4 bomb. Can't be planted here. Yes, it can, but Mosea is now swung out, and Kaze finishes off as well.
Perfect molly. That's a perfect Molotov. Both plant positions weren't the safest, and once that molly goes down, then suddenly Mosea's position is just... it's amplified, the importance of it. You know, I thought there was a chance that because he disrupted from apartments in a previous round, they'd actually go in hard clearing for it, but then they're getting shot from deep A site, then they're getting Molotov from market window. Even if you wanted to look at apps, I don't think you could even justify it because of so much pressure from other positions as well. That is a round for overtake, and this is only a half buy here from GR. They do have an AK in Yakuza's hands, but only pistols for everybody else. Kaze, nice kill to kick things off. Mediocrity's had a stellar game, but cannot find any impact here.
Yakuza! Beautiful frag to find. Akami is caught. Masaya not quite there in time, but as he starts to strafe back out, back to get right, it's going to be a tough ask. WeQT is looking like he is indeed a cutie. 2. Kaze does at the very least find Salah, but with the bomb planted, QQ and Yakuza both have rifles. The funnel through market will not be an easy one. Yakuza, though, takes one with him. Kaze is going to end up headshotting Advent. Spacing's not perfect, and QQ now has a real chance. 28 HP on Kaze means that this Farmers is going to be oh so deadly, and indeed it is. Last bullet is all it takes QQ to take him down, and Kaze, I don't know if he's kicking himself, but he's definitely kicking Advent in the head.
Not like this, man. Crossing in front of your AWPer in general, just a bad decision. But you try not to leave too much space. Oh, that is good. That is such a gut punch. Because an extra man makes all the difference there. Made his job so much easier in the clutch. That's so ridiculous. It's a pain to watch, and I have no real horse in the race. Like I like when we see newer teams do quite well. I think the fact that we had Clutch beat Rare Atom, you know, that's a sign of the times, a sign of the, I guess, the reflection that Rare Atom have had to do themselves as of late. And an upset here would be, you know, kind of great to see for GR. Obviously, it would be kind of sad for Rare Atom and I guess Asia CS fans, considering the stature they've held within the region for such a long period of time. So that round sucked.
Oh no. That's not ideal.
Yeah. Great flashes to kick it off because Kaze was full blind.
Couldn't see a thing.
Yeah, they decided not to use a top mid smoke. You know, that's part of why they flashed so heavy there. They went for instant window, and that just exposes you so heavily if you're going to go for that short jump. Kills well from Mediocrity.
A little bit messy on the spray, but he recovers it in the end, and that's what matters. And now Deagles and opportunities missed out. I like Kami. His MP9 needs to at least find a kill or two to just get some money going, because Rare Atom going into the end of this half, GR could very easily set up for 9 at this point. Kami needs a little bit more to add to the conversation, but only good for that one. QQ as well. Messy but found. Once again, Rare Atom not just on the back foot, economy is down as well. GR could feasibly fight for 9 in this half.
Yeah, already very close to that target. And I have to say, you know, the thing with GR seems to be that, like, even though crosshair placement hasn't really been, like, a massive forte from what we've seen in some of the kills that they've gotten, their flick aim has been pretty solid across the board. You know, these sort of instant reaction shots, or when they're getting caught off from, like, an off angle, they've actually been very quick to punish players if they're not, you know, instantly headshot. So I think Rare Atom have been getting served the meat and potatoes. So that they're not feeling the absolute sharpest on all their players, and when you give GR, you know, that extra half second to react, they have been very solid. And that's kind of what you expect from a team with, you know, less accomplishments, you know, trying to grind their way up to relevance within the region, especially, you know, East Russian team, then competing in the Asia divisions. I think we've seen many make it out, really. You know, the Chinese teams and I guess the Mongolian teams now have still served as the dominant figures.
No doubt about that. Although, like I said, man, it does feel like the East Russian teams are where the Mongolian teams were a couple of years ago, just because I was always amazed when I saw, why are there, like, 20 Mongolian teams that are playing? Right, and it really feels like the Eastern Russian teams are sort of leaning in towards the same angle as well. And eventually, if you have enough teams, eventually you're going to probably have at least one of them popping through. Generally the rule of thumb.
Eventually there's like a lot of shifts and, you know, it's a bit incestuous, like players jumping between rosters to roster, and everybody's played with everybody at one point, and then eventually you find one that sticks and accomplishes something. So no, I track the thinking, but even sometimes when you go through all those changes, it doesn't work out. Gun round here from Rare Adam, and this time Kaze is very assertive, even had Advent alongside him to try and take that space, but they're still grouped up ramp with the bomb on back. GR wanted to go for some sort of a quick A split, but because of that palace pressure, they slowed things down.
QQ finds Kaze. And now with the double CT setup, this is not going to be the easiest one to actually find back from. Remember, only one flashbang amongst the two of them. That's with Mercury, so pushing in through the smoke will not really be the best situation either. All they can hope to do is delay and hope that Mosaic over on short can find the frag. Wecht is gone. Mosaic doubles up. And now comes out all the hard bits for QQ. He has to try and fight for the ace if he wants the 9. Looks to be completely impossible. Can't adjust in time, and Rare Adam will at the very least be able to bring 7 together. 7-8 half. We're off to a break, and when we're back, we'll have to see whether GR Gaming can continue this lead.
Don't speak for a couple of weeks. I'll be in his place till he calls and says he's sorry. This situation's on repeat, just like a scratch on a CD. It just gets deeper when you hit rewind. How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and it's blurring your vision.
In here, and as you can see, the kill feed is already demonstrating action. Yakuza showing off his bits of skills. That was Kami's job before. Now it's up to him, and as they start to head back over to A, GR will be challenged, but they will rise to the occasion. Yakuza delivering only the one. Kami to swing out. His block is also deadly. Apparently the double from him brings it back to a 2-on-2. Salomux and QQ got both unable to frag so far, forced to reposition while the bomb is planted.
2Ks of Rare Adam trying to clutch things back, and Kami's already had so much impact. Salo already digged up and finally finished off, but QQ finds the instant trade, and now Kami has to clutch. Planted for him, he sits deep CT, and he can actually go further back. No kit available here for QQ. Kami close by. QQ didn't clear it, but Kami, it's labored on the spray. finally bursting and finally getting the kill he needs to. A very patient pistol from Kami, but 8 will be attained for Rare Adam moving into the second.
Listen, man, there might be some hashtag coach moments, but he is still on 15 kills with multiple, like, fairly impactful...
high-impact rounds.
Rounds and multi-kills. It's kind of nuts when you consider it that way. Plus, he is standing in for arguably the best player on the team.
Yeah. No, it's not small shoes to fill. Boy, is he filling it. You know, it's been such a different way to get his kills as well. You know, we see great sort of mechanics and, you know, I guess sort of anchorage roles for Jamyoung. Yeah, Kami was doing similar stuff, but he was like way more patient in retakes. And, yeah, I just think he's a more cool, calm, and collected guy. Maybe he should just join the roster. I don't know who he could possibly replace. Six-man rosters used to be a thing that people raved about.
I mean, Sean still think it's a thing. Wecht, in the meanwhile, pushing through. Another kill found. Mercury does respond to Yakuza. And right now, Rare Adam wish they had 6 players on the server instead of just the 5, because maybe this round would look a bit more possible. It's all falling apart. Kaze at a 1-on-3 now. Will have the bomb and the first kill with it, so perhaps still a chance. AK recovered, and crossover is there. Salo with a rifle as well will not actually spot Kaze going all the way into CT, but with that much noise made, he will be completely audible at the very least.
Yeah, I think Kaze saw him, though. That's the main discrepancy here for Salo. Should expect that someone is bottom side con, but Kaze now trying to make this cross, and QQ gave up the spot. There could be a timing here where he does just slip on by, but they expect someone to be inside a palace. Salo just holding his ground up high.
Surely Kaze doesn't go back and check this. Kaze, though, with a bump on default, is just a setting. Doc and Salo can shut him down there, and then 9th round found for GR, one that they absolutely should never have had a chance to capitalize on.
I mean, this happened as well in the first half. You know, we looked at a lack of investment from GR. They had P250s and Deagles, and that was where we saw, I think, Yakuza get 4 kills, but just fell short of the final hurdle, and it was Kami that actually stopped them from being able to convert on that round. This time, Kami was the first casualty. You know, we sung his praises so much. It happens. Well, they've had 2 close shaves. This time, this one does break skin. GR squeaking back into the lead and now holding on to a solid economic advantage. One-man execute here from Advent. And the nade from Salo actually could be right on the money. Yeah, Kami and Mosaic taking a lot of damage, but it won't deter them.
Also down for under window. Salo's having everyone funneled into him, and it actually ends up being another team kill. Kami getting another one in. What is it with the case of Rare Adam and killing their teammates? I know it's accidental, but I feel like let's hope it's not a trend.
Well, I've been informed that there are some smooth grooves going on the stream. We've been making this some kind of a montage during the opening rounds, and so no issue. Rounds have been a little bit tumultuous. I think throughout this whole game, it's not exactly been smooth sailings for either team. Now it's Glocks, and Advent will actually convert on one. QQ sticks around a little too long. 2 kills, two Glocks is obviously not ideal. Mercury does have his hands on a Galil, and he has slipped on by. They have no idea he's here.
Neither do I, to be honest. How did he get here? We don't know, but is he going to get some kills with it? Absolutely. Good for only 1, though. Too many players to contend with on the other side and couldn't get the instant frag. Not quite as deadly as GR could have been in that one Glock round where they went down to a 1v1, but still, at least some damage found.
Yeah, like almost as soon as they killed QQ, they got the boost into window. So that's where GR just lost 1 extra player. Rare Adam were very quick to assemble that. That's how he managed to break through backlines and get his hands on a weapon, but yeah, just ultimately of the highest amount of impact, 1 kill. That's way more than they bargained for. You know, they didn't invest at all. Now we'll see what their plan is to try and break through again here in this second half. Winning pistol, losing second round. Obviously not the best way to start. We know they can be explosive. And this is where we might see some of the lack of Jamyoung be more of an influence. You know, CT sides can be a lot easier for stand-ins to play. You know, you understand how how to play your spot, how to play defensive, some of the cheeky angles you can kind of manage, but taking initiative and forcing duels, that's where things can get rather difficult for players to step into those shoes, because we understand the importance of entry frags, especially in such a heavy sort of save meta. 1 or 2 kills could be enough to secure you rounds.
I feel like it's a little bit redundant to say this, but very defensive setup from Adam so far in the round, as they haven't gotten any map control whatsoever, and they are still going to be leaning over towards that A bomb site where there's 3 players ready and waiting, and QQ's got a flashbang that he can actually deploy as well from short to stop any rushes from coming through. I don't know what Advent is lining up right now. Well, guess we're not going to find out. Mercury has been tagged up initially. Kami and Mercury will both fall. Mediocrity looking to get another one added. He's just doing it all on his own. Advent might be able to find him finally, but even so, all 4 players from GR looking very healthy in exchange for Mediocrity's life.
A little disjointed looking there on the execute there from Rare Adam. Just, 2 players run out, but, they are, I guess, somewhat sectioned off by a Molotov, but there's almost no follow-up to that game plan. After Mediocrity gets those 2 kills, the entire pace or the rhythm of that execute kind of falls apart there for Rare Adam, and they just couldn't get enough territory in the initial bombardment of utility. See some nice, solid work from both Mediocrity and Yakuza alike. Both of them has been major propellants as to why GR are even in a lead against such a strong team, but the AWP of Wecht will strike first. These pistols trying to take ground. Rare Adam will be able to get some territory, and Kami 1 kill, but cannot get anything further from it. They're not even prioritizing getting that bomb planted initially. Only Advent dials in those digits rather, and the extra money will certainly go a long way, but this is still doable. That's a cheeky play there from Kaze, and Advent 1-on-2, that is not attainable. So again, probably more than you would have bargained for, considering it was just pistols invested here for Rare Adam, and they get a bomb plant in as well, but they are certainly hoping that they could win one of these rounds as well, because that would immediately slingshot their economy and help chew past what is already a really nice built-up bank for the GR squad.
Honestly, they're hoping that they can win any round at this stage. 13-8 is just not a lead that we expected to see going into it, I think it's fair to say. Michael, I don't want to speak for you, but even if Jamyang is missing from the server, you're still expecting it. Maybe it gets competitive. Maybe it's like a 12-12 situation and GR sort of clutches it out towards the end of things because of the man advantage. Sure, but so far, GR has been looking very dominant across, I can safely say, the last 10 rounds or so.
Of course, this is their map pick in the series, so we understand that, especially a staple from a previous season as well. GR have certainly put the reps in on this map, but we talked about it earlier. This is a map that Rare Adam have had to play and had to pull into their map pool mainly to try and combat the likes of Tyloo once upon a time on their rise. They've even been favoring it themselves a little bit as of late. This is not the best look, obviously not their full roster, but even then, the baseline should be high enough. It's not like Kami hasn't been performing. Aggro move here from GR, though. They're going through apartments, and Mosea's already watching.
Flashbang through so that they can find a pass. Mercury is there to trade right at the nick of time. There is still an AWP in from behind, so if Mercury goes for the swing, this will be problematic. Wecht is playing the right side angle of the balcony, so he's not going to be contending with Kaze. Flash to be avoided. Mercury is gone. Headshot will not matter. And in the meanwhile, on the A bomb side, Mediocrity pushing through might be lured into a false sense of security. Now he's taking the route back to Palace instead. Although he should be able to hear the 2 players inside mid from that distance. Mediocrity has to be careful not to give the wrong call as they are still clustered in the B bomb side. Kami is looking to commit. Is there going to be a chance for him to find Yakuza? Because that's caught between a couple of different angles. He knows that there could be a push through in middle as well. And with 15 seconds, they have to consider everything. Smoke down to try and cover. Kami's life will be secured by it at the very least. A grenade will find almost nothing. And a Molotov to block out Mediocrity from pushing. But he's already in through and the bomb has been denied. Kami and Kaze just hoping that they don't go down after time. And it's like they will be allowed to save these weapons. But not the round.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for sure Mediocrity was going to get spun the wrong way because of the fact that they'd re-diverted almost perfectly to mitigate his position. And they were hyper-conscious of ramp control, but Mediocrity pulling himself back through spawn before Rare Adam actually pulled the trigger on what is the split from Palace and Connector. And then just being able to cheat past that Molotov. You know, Rare Adam needed that planned. Had they planted safer, or I guess more for CT, they actually would have gone away with it, but how could they have known? Kaze tagged at the start of this round, just crossing towards those top mid boxes, already down to 25, but he's the kind of sole man left in charge of middle. He will have Mosea linking up with him soon, but Mercury's broke through, and Kami as well, in from Palace. They go with a much faster schedule through A, and they find 2 kills.
Yakuza as well could just be boxed in right now. Mosea's considering pushing through the smoke, and indeed he will. Molotov is there, but Kami, by the time actually gets the kill, Yakuza's already come through with 1. Still, a bit more spam from Salo back in CT. There is no way to deny Advent's bomb plant over here, and it looks like Rare Adam should be setting up for their first gun round win in the entire T half. It's still kind of crazy for me to say.
Yeah. You know, that pistol round felt like such a long time ago, didn't it? So. Can't save on Salo. Was definitely aware that Mosaic could be positioned there, but shouldn't matter in terms of getting their buy into the next round, especially if QQ saves this one. Mediocrity can receive a drop. Well, the lowest the loss bonus can be. And the fact it's only 1,400, so that's what they get for being so successful.
How dare they? How dare they win 5 rounds in a row?
Yeah, I know. Let's put their money kind of on the precipice of, you know, a save at the very least in the follow-up round, so Random get this to 10. 11th is likely, even though they did fall to pistols previously. I feel like we've gone through different... No, go for it. Okay. Well, I feel like we've gone through different eras of Rare Adam where once upon a time they were always very good at dealing with anti-ecos, and then there was a period where they would lose to anti-ecos a lot, and we were like, what's going on? And then they got better at dealing with them again, and now I feel like we're back in another era where, you know, pistol rounds are actually one of their main vulnerabilities, or I guess low buy rounds are one of their main vulnerabilities. Like I said,
unfortunately, I think we're just getting to an era of Rare Adam where they legitimately look like they are slipping up from the dominant spot even in China.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable as well.
Lin is very much powering through to try and make up for lost ground in the past. And remember, Lin's already guaranteed a slot in the ESL Pro League.
Yeah. And another team
they're going to have some chances. Mercury. To play completely disabled, and now the B-bomb site is where the defense will have to try and focus in on Salo. Good for one. QQ's added another one, fully blind, and Salo with full apartments control. There is a chance for him to push down through the Molotov. Really nicely played and prioritized, so brings it back to a 2-on-2. Knows the position of one of the players. Is probably not expecting Kaza to be back over in apartments. The only question is, will Kaza be using the Molotov out for bench? And yes, he does. So Salo is going to be pushed out of the corner. And as he goes forward, Kaza's missed out his shot, but the Molotov is there to finish him off regardless. And the push through Molotov in Weck's hands is going to be actually leading to him potentially losing the round up for his team. Another missed grenade in a similar position as what Kami had will be mattering a whole lot more, as Kaza could have actually fallen to it. M4 as well now picked up, and the 1-on-2 is on.
Kaze with timing the peak, and this time he will hit his shot. That is heartbreaking there for Wecht. Had he only had his AWP out, he could have denied that plant. He could have won by time alone, because it was desperate. 9 seconds. That's why Kaze didn't hold around for that Molotov. He jiggled, he missed his shot, and then he realized the time, I need to get this bomb down. Oh god, that could have gone right into the hands of GR, but that's honestly a bit heartbreaking for them to lose it in that fashion. And now they move in with another buy, this time a bit more scrambled, a bit more half. QQ had a bit more floating funds than the rest of the squad, so he's got an M4. Kusa has util at the very least as well, but these rounds have not been clean from our Chinese squad. These Russians are doing a great job of making them very uncomfortable, especially in these sort of late round pushes, where they're constantly changing positions and being a little bit more sporadic in the way that they're taking some of these duels.
If they do end up letting Random come back, man, that one round is definitely going to come back to haunt them, where Recht had the Molotov. Can't blame him for it, regardless. So, right up B they go, and they really need to make sure that they don't end up falling into this pistol round. The Eagles on the back of the B bomb site could still be problematic, but Kami can shut them down.
What a stud. What a superhero.
I wonder
kills.
how he's moving so fast when he's got a cape that big.
Yeah, I feel like capes are terrible for, you know, increasing drag. Apparently good for putting out fire.
Make the handling better?
What do you mean?
Like, you know, like how cars have handling based on like some, like, it's easier to handle some cars because they're less aerodynamic. Maybe it's just because superheroes fly and they need to handle better.
It's not quite a spoiler, but it's something at the very least. And that's what Salo's saying. This MP9 ain't much, but it's something. And we've certainly seen rounds like this go askew even with suboptimal weaponry. CT sides are just hard to break in general. Teams have gone so good at establishing solid crossfires. This little flash play here for Adam to clear out Ram, but there's no one playing close by. Kaze alone, and Mosea actually linking up from the underpass. So while Kaze could have gone to overrun, these weapons are simply running over GR, over in middle and the A bomb site respectively. This should almost be a snap call to save. I'm surprised QQ is even hanging around, but Jungle's compromised, CT is as well. And they may let their guard down here at the very least, because QQ hasn't been cleared for. Oh, now he has.
Oh, never mind. Well, at 12 and now set up for 13 for Rare Adam. They do look like they're actually making this work a little bit more so. The delayed mid-take this round ends up working swimmingly for them. Kaze and company able to make very quick work of it.
Well, that was their full buy, so back to halves. Then they'll bounce back in with rifles and the like in the follow-up, but at that point it would be a position in which Rare Adam could tie. I think we're at, what, 14-8 was our scoreline to look at.
14-8.
And they're very close to bringing this all the way back. Mosea under a little scrutiny, under a little pressure over at B, but a 1-for-1, and realizing that Salo's in an advanced position will only prompt the aggression through A for the rest of the Rare Adam squad. So Mediocrity needs to come up with at least a multi at the very least. But they're not clearing for him. Mercury dealt with, and he's got his hands on an AK, but he's overwhelmed. So these weapons cannot snowball into something greater. QQ round that smoke will find nothing. A 3-on-2, but with Salo's AK and the fact he's low HP, you still can't really count it like it's going to be a GR contest.
It doesn't feel likely at all. QQ. With the Kevlar, if he had been able to pick up an AK, maybe there was something to be said about it. And as he's now leaning backwards, maybe there is still a conversation to be had. The Molotov will not be spreading to Advent immediately, so he can take the delayed swing out. Finds QQ as well. Here's Salo firing off some bullets. And at this point, Salo might be regretting not having leaned back to save the AK. I know they'll have a gun round in the next regardless, but if Adam get to 14-14, that's where things could get tricky for them. Yeah,
we just saw some nice rifle work from Salo previously when he had an AK on the B bomb side as well, right? So the difference between having a weapon that can insta-kill to the head and not can sometimes be the difference between winning rounds or losing them. Now the sweat starts to really build here if you're GR. Such a solid lead. We're close to closing this one out, or at least guaranteeing an OT. Rare Adam have answered back. Simple flash play with the lamp flash. Mediocrity is alone on A. They try to go for a more heavy mid setup. That leaves both the extremities very vulnerable, but Rare Adam are not over-showing, not over-pushing as of yet. They will be the first port of call, though. The fact that Salo is playing so defensive, and Ikuza, if he oversteps... Oh, it's not being held anymore. But had he taken that jiggle, Kaze's ult was already pinned in on it.
Kami's just going for the full skill execute on his own. Flashbang is perfectly timed. Salo is going to be a bit late with the smoke, and he will be caught out, but instead of being brought down, it is the kill found. The first drop in was Mazea, and who's found a single kill, but isn't aware of QQ's position, being oh so very close. Maybe some comms going on, but he didn't hear the footsteps, and now Yankuz has been given a chance. Player spotted out, bomb dropped as well. And Kami and Kaze, only ones left, are being pursued back in middle as well. Kami needs to close the distance. Kaze trying to find Yakuza, will have heard the gun dropping, but can't get the kill just yet. Mediocrity grenade in his hand. Needs to be careful not to be caught out, but will find the frag. And it's all left to Kaze, a 1-on-4. And I'll find the first, but nothing beyond it.
Yeah, jumping out of the apartments, the fact that Kaze even gets that one kill could have made it a lot more interesting, but I'm surprised this breaks down so heavily. Only one player got out of apps in that state of affairs. You know, Salo dealing with that first player, but then he gets wrapped all the way from Market Door. And I think because Salo had drawn so much attention, you know, they were expecting a secondary player to be at bench or jail or even playing around that smoke towards Van. Just considering how willing Salo was to die, but he was predominantly alone. That's where the reinforcements came in that late rotate. They are close to taking their map pick in this series. You would move into Inferno as Rare Adam's selection, but they would be down a map. Of course, it's not over till it's over. Can they actually break blood? Rare Adam have shown vulnerabilities already this season, and GR are beginning to expose more of that here as well. Yakuza's first kill is great, but Mosea, nice trade, and they're splitting A.
Mediocrity is going to be able to fall. Keeps it going. Kami will respond finally. Advent on the side even things out. With QQ God and company, this is still going to be a tough round for them to save. There's so much utility. The grenade's going to be good as well. Molotov a little bit late to the party, but maybe they can actually angle that back to Firebox if QQ God hadn't gone down. Mux Salo on the other side of things. Well, I'm telling you, Mike, I'm getting a little bit confused by the callouts at times. I will not lie to you.
Yeah, not a team where we cast all that frequently, but hell, Rare Adam, that looked like a pretty dire opening state of affairs. You know, the fact that they effectively get onto this 4-on-2, and GR still have two players contesting close sight, if not for the fact that Rare Adam answer back with those two kills immediately, and then are able to hold in the I guess, very brief post-plant. That's around that GR had the numbers advantage, and had they been able to sort of cluster their troops up fast enough, they could have likely brought it over the line. Could end up in overtime, and whacked! Oh, such a chance. Advent jumping up and offering himself up. That ult does not connect.
Wect has had a couple of close shaves. Unfortunately, more of them leading in to the court of Rare Adam than not. Even so, GR's got 3 players near this A site. This is not going to be the easiest take to actually come through with, despite the low utility, despite the slightly poor firepower because of the MP9. But that MP9 is all the way to the other side. On Salo, Mediocrity is the one holding this one, and he's trying to play in close to Ninja, just try and see if he can be a surprise factor. Will not be able to find too much. The 1 kill is all he'll get, and Yakuza wants to take that as a quick distraction, almost lining up 2, but will have to settle with just the 1. As they fade away, a player right outside the smoke as well. Salo to try and activate late. The bomb is planted, and Salo's demise means we're going to overtime. And we've got to go to a break before we can see what it has for us.
Our first map between GR Gaming and Rare Atom goes full 30, and we need more to find out who will come out on top on our first map. GR Gaming had a 14-8 lead, and they let that one slip. Rare Atom able to answer back and force us back to equal stead. Let's see whether or not they can actually get more rounds here on this T side earlier in regulation, or I guess into our overtime. Mediocrity under pressure, under scrutiny already on this A bomb site. 2 kills though. This man is untouched.
Well, Rare Atom tried to speed things up over towards the A-bomb site, and they end up colliding into a brick wall. Mediocrity has been that many times over, but one of those standout performers for GR Gaming so far in the series. I'll say maybe Rare Atom thought, well, late round GR has been stacking in towards the A-bomb site. Maybe it's more of a mid-sided focus. Maybe there's more people on B early. Is that why they always have 3 on A? No, they just do. They just do.
Yeah, they went with a lot of mid-focus in some of the earlier rounds for GR, and we certainly saw rounds where Rare Atom just ran out contact or on faster scheduling to get opening duels on this A site, but this time GR were prepared. After Mediocrity deals with the first couple, again, just, the whole spacing, the whole pace breaks down, and by the time they actually get to the bomb site, there is more GR Gaming players than there were initially. They've got legs.
And they use them. Kaze has got hands. And he's looking to use them. Deep Molotov, though, doesn't quite go as far as they'd like it to be. Kaze missing out on an opportunity, perhaps. And QQ got his there to cover up and take him down. The double up for GR also maintained. Good to see that they don't have to reinvest into that into the next round.
And nice as well that they don't give up a significant man advantage, even to just have their, I guess economy doesn't really matter as much in the overtime, but just as far as confidence goes, they know that they should close out rounds like that, where they certainly let that ball drop a couple of times on their path to actually close out this map. They played very safe. They didn't give Kaze many opportunities. See whether Rare Atom can be more successful in the second run of things. This time a bit more standard. There's out for mid-control. QQ boosted, and Kaze got there first. He zoomed in way earlier than they anticipated. They had bad spawns for this, and sure, there's another player close by, but they've already got Mosea out on this B bomb site. It's just all about whether or not Rare Atom can actually utilize it.
They can cancel going over to B and just let Mosea try and be the lurk over, but now Salo's a little bit too close for comfort. Don't think that's where the flashbang is supposed to be landing, but regardless, Deep Molotov will be keeping Mosea out, and as he's trying to get aggressive, will be found out Salo to take him down, and that's just how you get the man advantage to even right so back weird. Out. Kami, however, has found Mediocrity.
This round is so weird, because GR were so convinced it was going to be a B play, and Rare Atom hadn't even got that bomb over just yet. Yakuza, that's a madman decision. Drops the bomb, but Advent's Molly will finish him off. It's still 3-on-3, and Salo could have cut off the rotate connector, but Kaze siphons him, and so now it's only Wecht. He's had a couple moments where he could have influenced the round, changed it in its place, but he'll miss his chance once again. Kaze with 3 in what is a Rare Atom round that I don't know what's going on. We had Mosea out van. We had all this mounted B pressure. GR so convinced, and Rare Atom hadn't even made their mind up yet.
Yeah, to be honest, Rare Atom just didn't look like they were expecting that Mosea would be able to get that much ground, and he just goes ahead and gets it, and then he's just wondering, well, what do I do now? Because he can't get out of there. He has to fight, but he doesn't want to fight because that means Kanze would have to commit as well.
Oh my goodness. 2 perform the cross. I don't know if they saw Mediocrity insert himself sandwich, but that could be a real problem position for this A play.
It has been before. This is where he picked up a big triple in a previous round as well, but the A play is not actually coming through yet. And they retreat back over for a reposition for B. Seems to be the name of the game. QQ close by enough to perhaps take a gander out for information, but information's instead being gained by Mediocrity. Wecht is trying to cover in for his push forward. Rare Atom are just setting up for a full B-sided play, and with only Salo ready and available, he is also going for the shallower jump spot back through, so he won't know until a little while later. Now sees the utility all coming over. Smoke down, trying to reposition inside and around it. Molotov as well at his feet, so he needs to be careful. There's not that much space to maneuver into. Mercury good for the one, but traded out all too quickly. Rare Animal losing numbers, and Salo still alive inside and behind the smoke. Will finally be dealt with. Back to a 2-on-3, and Advent cannot get aggressive. The grenade to his face as well. Mosea finds one for free, and that's the advantage gained. But remember, HP's not looking too good, and Wecht is there to punish Kaze. Finds mediocrity, and Wecht is once again put into a very difficult situation. One where Rare Adam will just find the 17th. Kaze cleaning things up in the late round.
Wecht has to hate Kaze. He has to hate him. He's ruined so many of his chances to actually influence the round, whether it was that, you know, short play where he had the Molotov out. That was Kaze planting the bomb. Whether it was his 1-on-3 with over a ticket, Kaze also cut him down there. And this time as well, 5-7 out, knew these players were low, and Kaze just peeks him. No fear. You know, it's not the AWP difference I was expecting to really see. We haven't actually seen many sort of like head-to-head AWP peeking. But yeah, Kaze is definitely making his presence known. And yeah, important 2 rounds for Rare Adam to get on board. I think this is where, you know, some of the lack of experience in, you know, taking part in all these leagues and not placing highly within, you know, Asia divisions too frequently. You know, GR are a come-up team, and we have to treat them as such. This is where, you know, you definitely get put through the ringer the most. You know, you might be close to performing an upset, but until you're there, until you've actually done it, you cannot let your guard down. Rare Adam are digging deep. Kaze 31 kills. And behind him, Coach Kami.
Yeah, that still is kind of insane when you think about it. Of course, GR's got their own heavy hitters on the other side. Mediocrity and Yakuza have been doing a lot of big boy work, but none of that will matter if they're not able to capitalize over here. Mosea's getting quite aggressive back towards middle, and they are looking to be very aware of this underpass play that's being set up. Yakuza's gone. Advent with the backwood position in window. Will be able to take down one. Will he be expecting the second is the question, though.
Don't need to anticipate when you get confirmation. Kaze. These are the 2 heavy hitters from GR Gaming gone initially, so it has to be other players to step up, and QQ will look to deliver. 1 kill found, but they're still at a 1-man deficit, and Mercury overcommitting to his duel. Tried to take that deep peek, but QQ was ready for it, and Kami making noise, jumping up the app. Salo hears all of this, and he knows exactly when to punish. They get access to B, but Mosea is there quick.
Mosea needs to find a multi-kill up here to make this actually possible. Salo can't cross over. Cause is watching exactly for that. Mosea pushes into his crosshair, but he still comes out on top of the duel. Wecht the trade, but doesn't realize Kaze has already taken such a far position forward. Kaze, though, auto jump comes through in his position. Should have been given up, but Wecht is not aware, not quite yet. And Kaze's got the advantage. Kaze's got the 1-on-1, and the second player to peek right out. It's QQ's triple that gives them a round that seemed to have slipped through their fingers.
Oh man, I thought Wecht was about to have nightmares again. Just narrowly missing that timing, and Kaze almost made that doable, but great job there from QQ. Those 3 kills. Very high influence after losing Mediocrity and Yakuza so early in the round. Back to a tie game. All about who will break through to 18 first and secure at least that overtime. We could just finish here in our first. Only missed. And given the trajectory, they might actually anticipate that someone is on the low ground here. Mercury gets out.
Seen a lot of those missed grenades, one way or another. Yakuza, though, Ultra won't really be deterring him too much, as he is going to be going back into connector. Moves past the smoke. Advent might be peeking into him and finding the frag. Makes it look easy, as if it was all pre-planned.
Oh, good that Kami is the one that gets dropped there. He was only on 6 HP after getting bombarded earlier on, but losing Mosea is not what you wanted to have happen. Kaze, though, gets the line fast enough. AWP spam will not connect, but even Curious, he even tried for that. 3-on-3, though. They need to wait for Mercury to actually be able to link up. He's still in connector. He's very late.
Wecht able to start finding some impact now that Kaze is not just consistently there to shut him down. Kaze knows that this round is very heavily going to be up on him. Mercury so far off. There's nothing really that Kaze can do just by waiting. Mercury comes in. Good for the one. Labored spray. Doesn't have too many bullets left in the chamber. Only the 4, and it won't be enough to find a kill on any one of these guys. Kaze fading back away. Will be able to get a wallbang over Wecht. However, will have support, and it's QQ God once again to seal out the round on the B-bomb side. GR up to map point once again.
I'm confused what we're doing here on Rare Adam. Like, Mercury's taking so long to get through short, and Kaze just shows so much hesitance about actually making his way out from market at any given point. You know, especially after Mercury takes contact on short, that's usually when you'd expect your market player to try and link up and, you know, clear things together to a certain degree. If there's pressure from both sides mounting, it's harder for GR to actually just completely isolate all those duels. It seemed like Kaze wanted to save, but he just ends up dying anyway. So, yeah, a little perplexed. It seemed like there was just too much fear there from our Adam, who, you know, haven't really been showing that same level of hesitance in previous retakes.
Yeah.
It was all, I don't know if that's, you know, attributed to Kaze Mercury particularly. You know, Advent obviously peeked in at the market door and got picked off by that ult before Mercury could really do anything. There's a couple question marks for me.
You would think that Advent would be the most scared cross-boss Kaze after what happened before. B-side hold from GR Gaming has generally been solid, though, once they've got the bomb plot down, and the question is, can Rare Adam maybe stop that from happening? Because otherwise the post-plan setups generally have been solid across the board. Seen some good retakes, but regardless, do come down to 1v1s or the like, so it could be swinging either way. Musea smokes off the Molotov. 4 players here on the A-bomb site. GR Gaming will not commit.
Yeah, going back to reset mediocrity with a window smoke. They will try and apply some pressure here. They already had Wecht out at the top mid boxes with his AWP. And now it's 4 players here for GR on this presence, and their plan is to try and attack through short over towards B, it seems like. Bomb position in the apartments, but if Cammy's able to drop that, it would be very difficult for GR, especially if time runs low.
It's once again going to be a difficult retake on the B-bomb side of Yakuza. Is able to keep himself alive for so long. Kami good for the one. Advent with the flash through. Should be able to pick up a second. Wecht is gone. And now this follow-up grenade coming out back to short. QQ is stayed, or rather swayed away from continuing his progression back to the B-bomb side. But the problem is still the bomb. It is so heavily committed. Mediocrity's got so little to do. And he is still going to be going in over towards the B-bomb side. Kaze spotting out the first play. That's a free kill found. Yakuza is down. Mediocrity reveals himself, but knows there's a player at the back of the bomb side. Advent can just peek forward. The bomb should be denied here and now. And indeed it is QQ left alone. A 1-on-3 that he simply cannot win. It will be a second overtime.
Yeah, I mean, really solid work. Especially Cammy. You know, he's the one that's completely isolated on topside balk. He's full cleared for from these players running up through short. But this was always going to be the problem there for GR. If they lost presence in the apartments or they lost presence on short, then suddenly it was going to be very hard for them to redivert, considering they'd run the clock down so low. Where Adam just having a solid read on it. Even with all that presence mounting on A, those anchors were always keeping in mind that there could have been someone still lurking. And no tricks, no wool over the eyes here or of Rare Adam, not yet. They've had rounds stolen away from them, but GR have had, I think, the more heartbreaking experience so far. You know, so many chances to punch it in regulation, that we find ourselves into a secondary overtime. I am still so surprised with Cammy's performance.
Same. Game been places where the ball has been dropped, but not that many of them, and there's definitely been a few dunks down as well.
I don't even know where you would say he's dropped the ball. I actually can't even think of one.
Once or twice on the B-bomb site in the first half. You do think so?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't put that outside of like standard deviation of like any regular player.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's just hard. Normally, it would be hard to compare him to Jam Young, but with the performance he's having, hey man,
Yeah, he's just kind of taking his spots. And it's like, whoa, this is actually this is the spots we're giving this guy. That's crazy. I could do it too.
At the
It's
same
obviously
time,
not optimal.
yeah, and that
Yeah, you
is
want
maybe
your
most
stars.
visible on the T side.
But this is one of the things. Like, even though your stand-in player is doing quite well, or your coach is doing quite well, you know, usually you're having to shift responsibilities about who's doing what in rounds. And you know, the thing is, while Cammy's had a solid game, you also cannot put reliance on your substitute or your coach to have this kind of an impact. And so some players will start to feel like they have to do more when they, you know, in a typical circumstance would maybe wait or play safer. You know, these players will try and get more aggressive. We've certainly seen Rare Adam trying to make aggressive moves on CT sides, which is kind of uncharacteristic to what we usually see from them. It's definitely something that we noted during the RMRs, that they were always playing defensive setups and they would basically never change. I think we only ever saw it like one time or one map on Inferno where you could visibly see them, you know, get aggro through apartments. But they've been trying to mix things up. You know, we saw palace pushes, ramp pushes. We saw, you know, 4-man mid attacks from Rare Adam on the CT side, which is just, it's out of norm. Maybe that's what they offer up to teams that have more to prove.
I think Rare Adam are definitely in a bit of a phase of self-discovery again as well, right? Though you have to imagine that with how heavily they've been rattled more this time than ever before, because it feels like this time it really was that everyone thought Rare Adam should have been at the major, but when you actually got to the RMR, they got kind of steamrolled by the Mongols. So I wouldn't
people
be.
always give, caveats or something to why a team wouldn't make it over another team. You know, Rare Adam weren't feeling the best at that RMR, but they didn't have to go through roster moves. You know, they also just recently came off of, I think, what was an ESL Pro League.
Absolutely.
You know, so they had their time to boot camp in Europe. It should have been theirs, and they definitely know that.
And even in the way they were losing those games and maps, it really did look like their philosophy had failed. More than the players are feeling, more than the aim is feeling. Sure, yeah, we could have had maybe Conte activated for a few more maps here and there, sure. But
Yeah.
beyond that, it did look like the reliance on Advent calling out perfectly was just not working anymore.
Yeah, no, we didn't see Mastermind Advent added again. This guy, notorious for calling the right stack on the right time, especially on like he would mastermind easier rounds for his teams, and half the time I wouldn't understand how he did it. Like, genuinely, he would just be like, this time we're gonna stack 4A, and sure enough, it's an A execute, and there's a 4th player there, and the other team's just thinking, why is there a 4th player here? We didn't do anything different. Like he was reading their strat book.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Even if we're looking over towards like the smaller things that maybe you would see the individual players make a call for in the mid round, right? Just the re-aggression when you're down in a 4v5 on the T side, something like that. There was so many of these small moments which made their clutches look so much more doable. Their positions would preemptively be in a good place. You know, like you mentioned over here, Mercury being quite delayed to actually scaling back up. Catwalk in the 1-2v2 where him and Kaze were alive. It's small things like that which never felt like they were ever going to go wrong in a Rare Adam match. So yeah, like I said, I think this is definitely going to be a period of soul searching for them, and this season is something that they would really want to win to get a bit more of that confidence back.
And this is already a massive performance from GR, even though they still haven't won it yet. You know, we're certainly going to be keeping our eye out for Mediocrity and Yakuza. I mean, we have been since the previous season, but, you know, being able to show longevity, the fact that you can get these players to perform consistently season to season, especially with varying expectations, is going to be important for this squad and this core moving forward. Quite an extended break between our overtimes. But we're into our second overtime at that. Once again, neck and neck. We break even. Adam this time starting CT, where they had attained 2 rounds on T in the last state of affairs. Now Mercury looking to attain more ground. A lot of presence towards underpass, but no one's actually defaulting B here for GR. The nade will do decent damage.
Ooh. Whoa! Make it more than decent. Mediocrity's not feeling too happy about that one. He's being a big man for GR.
This time made small. They do still have Wecht in at the top mid boxes, and while Adam will have no confirmation of that, they also don't try and hazard that glance. Advent picked off CT, though, does draw the defenses away from B. Leaning very heavily over towards an A-sided finish. And GR is still pretty indecisive. You know, they still have Yakuza keeping checks on things over on that B bomb side. They've actually kind of reset to more default orientation as well on Rare Adam. Just a knee-jerk reaction, but now reaffirming their position, and Mosea will be under a decent amount of scrutiny. He does have at least Kaze rotating in, and that ult can hold a deep line.
Kaze, though, is just caught picking up a bit more utility. Mosea needs to be careful. Wants to go for the peek forward. Kaze is the one who actually initiated, but he is traded out of it a bit too quickly. Mosea. Lower down angle, and Mercury there to cover up from balcony means Wecht is all alone at 1-on-3, and he's been in so many nightmare situations late in the round. Looked like he started turning around his fortune just a little bit, but in a 1-on-3 with 18 seconds, no bomb either, and some very defensive players, no, he's got no chance.
Yeah, saving the ult definitely has its value, but good stuff there from Kaze. Even though he was given all that util, took initiative as soon as all that, the sort of execute came out from GR. He was ready to take that first duel, and he just drew all the attention to him, where Mosea could then thrive. Even had Mercury back him up in time. GR weren't anticipating such heavy resistance. 2 players still on that B bomb site. But after Rare Adam attained middle control, they just let GR have it for the late round, and Wecht effectively did nothing. You know, he was left lurking with an AWP, and no one even checked for him.
Okay, caught out. Right down middle. Mosea, as well, is not going to be in a position to actually do too much beyond just smoking off the connector. The problem is that Kaze has got too many angles to deal with. Advent is taking the aggressive palace position, which Mediocrity is watching out for. Advent peeking forward, just left for 3 HP. He's got almost no chance of having a major impact in the round at this point. Just needs to be careful that he doesn't get caught out. Yeah, oh no, they're just completely out-positioning Rare Adam right now. Kaze seems to be the only person with really any hope of trying to prevent this A-side hit, and with QQ gone, getting the kill on Kami. I was wrong, Michael. They can prevent the A-side hit by dying on B as well.
Well, Wecht is transitioning, and Advent is actually pushed all the way through ramp, through T-spawn, but won't be able to be in a spot to actually cut off that bomb. You're going to think it's very safe, very open. Wecht anticipating maybe some presence from under, so they should still expect that their flank could be covered off. Wecht trying to go for the fancy jump up, but this will have to do. And yeah, they're tapping out. Random want nothing to do with this. And that seems a little bit odd, maybe a little bit peculiar, but after losing Mercury so early in the round, they had to get some level of information or something back as a result of GR's heavy presence in through middle, and it doesn't work out for them. You know, they get punished for some of these aggressive moves. Even Advent is 3 HP is not ideal. Well, it's the kind of counter reaction that we want to see out of Rare Adam, really, because they frequently wouldn't. Doesn't work out here. And don't save the ult either.
Mercury's also not been having the best of games, and he is generally the best rated player on Mirage for the Rare Adam side. I remember saying this once, that it did sometimes feel like the Mirage picks that Rare Adam was experimenting with did just feel like they were for Mercury specifically, but you know, right now it doesn't seem that way at all. 19 and 32 in the second overtime.
And meanwhile, Kaze is just plugging away. 3 shy of 40.
Mamma mia. Very aggressive, and they're not going to be expecting. Yakuza already here. Got more than just the one. Almost the second found as well. Mosea not down yet, though. At least it's a 1-for-1 trade, but Mediocrity's taken the opportunity to now start aggressing forward as well. Advent's not going to be expecting this player to be so close. Mediocrity, as well, has got so much time to wait to actually activate in this stage. Wecht dropping down, and as they start to move back over, Advent's been spotted out. Advent's got nothing to do here as he's forced to fade away, and it will have to be Kazi to make his way through and try to retake, but the problem is he cannot do through Murder Hole. Salo is covering that off, so it has to be a double CT side set up instead.
Nice smoke as well for the retake here from Kami, and they just have to really be careful about this flank from CT. They've got Mosea as well trying to flank through ramp, but it's so late. The rest of the squad are making their way out from spawn, and Kami tagged. Mediocrity and QQ will at least collect on a couple of kills, but it has to be Mosea that draws attention away now. Mediocrity on this site has Kaze cut off, but now Mosea left empty-handed. Has to be at least one player to jump onto this bomb, and it was most likely going to be Mosea. Smoke down, and Kaze trying to cover, but he'll die, and Mosea will fall with him. GR get to 20 first, and we move into our second half of our second overtime, where Rare Adam trail.
This is just looking like Rare Adam are being outgunned for sure, but even so many places outpaced. They're not completely ready for GR being willing to accelerate like this. You know, that push from Yakuza right down middle, straight up catwalk that early on, taking advantage rather of all of the mid-utility that Rare Adam had been lining up for to try and counter out any player trying to lurk into the boxes behind. Just catch off the timing completely, and then the double push seems to be disabled as well. Rare Adam's plays are being countered out by pure pace.
Yeah, and that was one of the rounds that we saw GR pull out in regulation that got shut out by a very rare 4-mid call from Rare Adam. This time it was only 2 players off of the catwalk, and quite honestly, you know, Yakuza probably should have gotten both kills. You know, he certainly had a chance at it. Won't fault him for doing, like, what, 180 damage from those 2 duels, but yeah, Rare Adam just were not ready for that pace once again, especially in the overtime. They thought they had all the flow in the game, but GR can make their changes as well. Difficulties on CT sides, I think, has been the trend thus far for either squad. There it was, I think, an 8-7 half.
Initially.
Coming out of it for GR from their T side. But then we saw that 14-8 lead dropped to Rare Adam's T side, so. Hard pressed to get CT rounds. Theoretically, all GR need is 2 more.
Yeah, theoretically all Rare Adam needs is 3 more. That's the magic of overtime. But I think what Rare Adam really need is a little bit more activation to come through from the double M's on either side. Mosea's definitely been having a better game for sure, but it does feel like not quite the same Mosea where you come through with a couple of really high impact rounds, maybe a double kill, a triple kill, something like that to come out of him. Mercury as well, we already outlined the problems he's been facing. I don't think you can ask any more off Kaze at this point, right? But GR, they seem to be asking more of every single one of their players, and they are just delivering, right? It's just QQ's been looking good. Yakuza's had so many good, solid moments. Maybe not quite as hot as he was in the first half of the map, but it's hard to maintain that form across, what, 40 rounds now?
Of course. Yeah, no, I mean, you don't expect anyone to be able to keep up that pace throughout an entire game, do you?
More than a game, yeah.
They've been doing some good work. That trio of riflers has really been the reason why GR have remained competitive, because quite a few of these rounds, even when they lose, like 1 or 2 of these sort of high influence riflers, they're able to recover with the third, you know, that third part of the assault. So Even, I think Salo, has been mainly more impressive on his CT sides, the way he's been playing. We'll say Wecht could have closed this game a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows that as well. Mistakes will be made in a game like this that is scrappy and all the way through to an OT, but Wecht is trying to make up for some lost time. Over to the underpass, and he's spotted already. Just a nice little shoulder bait out from Mosea. Took that glance and doesn't want the heat.
Just that information is enough for now. Flashbangs are there. Wecht has missed out, though, unfortunately. His trailer form doesn't seem to be remedying itself anytime soon. Somehow Advent's been allowed to get away, even though there's 3 players from the CT side in middle. And Kami, Defensive, and Palace can do nothing about it, as the CTs will once again reset back to A, just as the terrorist side is going to do so as well.
There was no one actually committing to the site, so Wecht does secure position in at triple, and Mediocrity in from Sandwich, a spot that has been a troublesome angle to clear for Adam in the past.
Specifically been prioritizing that a few times over. Mercury, what a frag to come through from him. Mediocrity as well has been completely caught out. They've got nothing so far, and it will just be the CT side relying on Yakuza, who's got a chance to activate in a big way, but he's going to settle for just the one. Mercury on the other side of things as well. Smokes it off. AK's pulled out as well. Yakuza inside the smoke. Almost traces Advent, while Mosea pushes back to CT. QQ found, and Yakuza will have to settle for just the one on that very flank that he was relying on to maybe turn around the round.
We'll try and go for a little bit more damage, but no one's actually giving him a peek. God, it just looked like he could have gotten more out of his position. In a 3-on-5 like this. Tag onto Yakuza, actually. Now he might die to the bomb here. So that's at least an AWP that doesn't get carried forward here for Rare Adam, but they won the round, and they can always afford another one. But yeah, you look at Yakuza's position, when you're 3-on-5 after getting double entried on that A site, it feels like you have to go for more. You have to try to get more out of that, because all your teammates are smoked off. If you're going to go on that kind of a timing, you need to from that spot, and he almost had a chance for it had he played a bit of trigger discipline. I think Mercury was it that was clearing for him, actually, ended up peeking from Sandwich to ramp.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of that was a reaction to losing Kaze, or if he was going to do so anyway.
So yeah, all the way forward. Salah should have an idea of exactly what's going on here, but he's actually spamming in towards the back. Maybe he doesn't know. Flashbang through. Salah's going to be completely blinded by it. Will not have time to deploy the smoke, but Wecht is here to cover off now. The smokes were late from the T side. Mosea tried to beat them, and Salah and QQ have been beating up Rare Adam. There's been no casualties on this CT side, and GR are once again going to find their way up to map point.
Yeah, the fact that those smokes were delayed with the push out through B, just a big mistake there from Rare Adam. Losing that first player, if that is to be the case, is just too pivotal, too much influence. GR, too much space. And they were allowed to reset around that utility before they actually had to meet any Rare Adam players, so good stuff, punishing a small mistiming. Feels like we might go another OT. Unless GR actually close this map. They've been in the driver's seat for several points in this game. Just haven't been able to break past that final hurdle.
Oh, maybe this is the opportunity, taking down the heavy hitter of Kaze. Wecht and company are pushing forward. They might not be expecting a player this close. Oh, Mercury's got a chance, and he's got the double. Might not have been having the best of games, but these past 2 rounds he has been crucial.
Yeah, he was just so fast out middle. Flew out before GR had eyes. QQ. Look towards bottom side combo. There's 3 players there, and they'll greet him with open arms. Only one more player to find, and that's Mediocrity, who had a stellar regulation, but falls flat here in an overtime round. Could not get anything from his spot, where he's at least looking for one. Empty-handed, and that's been most of the squad. Only Sallow that remains. And a 1-on-4 that is surely not doable. Smoke topside, Connor flash in as well. They'll try and get a little bit more room out to stairs. He'll go, but there's just too many players. Surely Advent, he'll drop, but Rare Adam answer back. It looks like we're going to another overtime, and so we'll have to send it to another break before we find out how this one concludes.
Break up, don't speak for a couple of weeks. I'll be in his place till he calls and says he's sorry. This situation's on repeat, just like a scratch on a CD.
We like fast breaks here, and, you know, usually that means going from one side of the floor to the other, but it's been wishy-washy. It's been back and forth between GR and Rare Adam here on Mirage. 21-21, we end up in our third overtime. Advent already flying through middle, but can find nothing for his efforts. Even the AWP of Wecht and Kaze will be like ships in the night. They started with that man advantage, and Yakuza even hunting for an extra frag. Down middle, Rare Adam start at a heavy deficit. 3-on-5, they'll be hard to crack through. They do know Yakuza is being an absolute nuisance in from top middle, and is continuing to be exactly that, dissipating those flames, and will be immovable from his spot. So middle is pretty strictly off limits. Could even set up for a flash play to allow Yakuza to swing after that smoke fades. But they're really just trying to get Mercury to flush and funnel him out. There's an extra player down on mid floor. Yakuza, 1 kill, but Mercury answers back with a double. He only survives on 1 HP, and so Kami is a pivotal man, but he gets nothing. Mediocrity, that one-on-one. Certainly swing this into a 22nd round here for GR. I've not seen a 1-on-3 with 1 HP. Maybe Mercury can be a deliverer of the goods, but too hard. Solid round here from GR, much more assertive. Took over that mid control, and Rare Adam were very fixated on actually dealing with it. Just couldn't stop them. How could you? So overtime has been pretty ruthless for both of these squads, and CT side rounds have been harder to get hold of. Rare Adam start off trailing in our third OT. The standard we've seen so far is 2 rounds on this side of the map.
Kaze though, a rare miss coming out from him, one that he quickly rectifies. Seems like he has been a staple as he finds 40 kills now. Pretty insane to see him looking right back into form this way. Mediocrity, they're almost caught up, but indeed, the trade will be catching him. Mosea as well, another quick kill. Right back to Connector as he surprises Yakuza by popping up underneath him. A 2-on-4 Rare Atom. Look to equalize once again.
Sallow flashing in a gap through CT smoke. Doesn't see anyone from it though. Mercury was hiding back towards the fire boxes, and Sallow box is on fire. There is a kill in response. Kaze dealt with finally inside of the connector, and he's one of the strong post plants that they wanted to hold on to. Sallow's still running interference to allow QQ up the rendezvous on this bomb site, but Sallow sidelined and clotheslined. Mosea looking for a second, but QQ surely doesn't have enough time to actually segment both these angles, fight for both these positions off of it, and yeah, no more time to even stick the defuse. Mercury will cut him out, so tying things right back up. Rare Adam get halfway there to what has been a hallmark for these T-side overtimes.
And Kaze finding so much space back over towards mid is it's just massive. It allows that entire Palace drop play to be set up between the Tetris player as well as the Palace player actually dropping down, so Mercury can find the frag, and the A bomb site is then left empty. I'm slightly confused about how Mosea ended up right next to Yakuza and connected though.
He just crapped the smoke and jumped up. And
there you go, man.
He probably shouldn't have won that duel, but that's the element of surprise at play.
Huh, why would he do? I'm dead.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, there's just straight going B.
Yeah.
They're already inside, but they've let the bomb up above, and this might be a problem. But Mercury is dispelling any problems they might have. Adam do not want this to go to another overtime. They just want to accelerate all the way through.
That is pretty saddening. They went for a actually almost 5 players mid. They were so convinced that Adam were going to do it because they've been mid-heavy the past couple of rounds back-to-back, and now they get caught out by a faster B play, and Kaze will even seal it in. 2 rounds on the T side in our overtime number 3. GR, that was, you know, I love when teams change up their setups, go for new ideas, but that was a lot of eggs in one basket for an overtime.
It's bold.
Definitely.
Gotta give them that.
It's one of those calls. Like if everything went to plan and Adam did go heavy mid control, we would have just been going like, wow, that was a heavy commitment. That's a gamble that they've taken, but what a time to call it. But that's the thing with gambles. You don't always win.
That did seem like one of those old school advent calls, though. It's like, yes, I know there's going to be at most one person over towards that B bomb, so let us rush B.
And then there was 0 actually, so he overcompensated. Got to carry the one.
Smarter than even he realized. Hopefully the brains can continue though, or the brawn from GR. Either way. Remember, this is just the first map of what is already turning out to be a riveting series. Akaza, first kills for free. Vector's got another as well. Kaze is the only one to actually get a response. In the meanwhile, Vector's going to be making a lot of noise. Mercury looking to find him as well as he pushes back out from the smoke. Will catch him with his knife out. Freebie. And right back to the 3v3.
Oh, but they're starting to think it's going to be some kind of an A-sided finish given the way that they were trying to peel away from middle. But I think they've realized the error of their ways. GR instead going for a B-sided finish, and so Mercury will try and flank through the underpass. But the lack of presence here from Adam, they should be hyper-conscious of flanks and all of these troublesome positions. Mediocrity finally dialing in those digits, but they're committing 2 on the flank. We certainly saw a lot of impact from Kaze throughout this map, but a very hard position for him to actually commit to the retake. The guy heard all of that round, but maybe the viewers did not. But a very, very troublesome position for Adam, even committing 2 players on that flank. Is not getting anything for their efforts. If they had to at least get 1 kill from that spot if Kaze wanted any sort of a chance. GR are, once again, tying things up, and these T-side rounds just continue to be the biggest pivotal piece of this matchup. Kaze does start off the affair. Yakuza's out of the equation. So now, Mediocrity, can he get anything right back? Mercury still challenging top side of the smoke, and does take a lot of damage for his cross.
Well, Mediocrity's now had his life stolen away, so I guess it should be perfectly fine. Sallow pushing through, does at the very least find Advent, and with 2 players bunched into jungle, Vex's position is going to be all the more deadly. Finds Mercury, who's gone, and now proceeds back over to CT, where Kaze's missed the shot. The trade is there, but it's still a 2-on-2 while making its way over to the A-bomb site. And Sallow's found space as he's self-boosted back to jungle. Kami is aware, but has to move off of it very soon after. Mosea instead left to cover Sallow. He's peeked into his cross, is not quite in the right position, but the flashbang gives away the jig.
Nice counter kill though. Kami with the trade. And QQ is going to be given space to plant over at A. They not really sure about where he would have finished off. There's still so much time on that clock, but now Kami knows he's on the wrong side of the map, and QQ's position is so strong inside of jungle, and Kami will make noise dropping down from middle, but QQ out of earshot. So it's all about timing. Who clears for who? Does Kami even suspect that his back could be exposed? QQ none the wiser. And Cammy's got a smoke. He's got a kit as well. And he can drop that on that bomb to make this more difficult here for QQ. He won't know if he's tapped it or not. But Cammy didn't make the cross. He didn't even try and stick it. And now they're pinned into awkward positions. Cammy trying to tap, but QQ's got him off it. And he knows that Cammy ain't sticking it. He's running out of bullets. But Cammy, a kill won't matter. It won't count. GR gets a 24 first.
They try and get too cute with the flashbang right back into Murder Hole, but more than that, it's been so many B-side commits from GR to come through thus far. And they just gambled back over to it, even in the one-on-one Kami. Unfortunately, couldn't get onto the site in time, even if it looked like there was definitely a timing window there for each of them to capitalize on. Both players seem to have the completely incorrect read.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, but QQ just had the plant advantage.
I think what led Rare Adam to make that assumption is that usually when you get a player boosted inside of window and cutting off rotates, you know, he's holding Murder Hole for the longest time there. Usually when a player is in that position, you're actually trying to stop A players from going to B, instead of cutting off B players from going to A. You know, if you're going to get yourself in that position, you know, you want to be able to attack that A bomb site from jungle as an extra avenue. It makes, you know, topside balcony hyper exposed. It makes under balcony hyper exposed. It makes anyone playing stairs very vulnerable. So I think they just looked at that and thought, oh, well, if he's there on the table cutting off the Murder Hole, this guy must be going B. Like, he must be looking for an isolated fight on B somewhere. You know, that's the way that I would justify it at the very least. But yeah, just a total misread. I think it's, you know, you're right on the money there. Neither player really understood where the other one was coming from, but
and it all comes back off the back of Kaze, unfortunately, just missing that one shot.
Yeah, that is true.
He had his Wecht moment as well. Seemed like Wecht was a poor guy. Yeah, it seemed like Wecht was a poor guy who every single time is like, oh, he's gonna win the round out, and it's just, oh no, he's got a Molotov. There's some timing that's been missed. Oh no, maybe one missed shot in the bunch of them as well, but Kaze, 45 kills or not, that one could be the difference maker.
And Kaze was often the one acting spoiler for Wecht in some of those moments, so yeah, a little bit of revenge.
Oh, okay, we're having a
round restart.
Yeah.
Isaiah left spawn without a weapon, so that would have been a strange way to approach the final round of the overtime. This is the final round of the game. That's the big question. GR once again in a driver's seat position, and they have got themselves to a spot where they can close. They have failed to do so already in this game a number of times.
Shriek trying to get aggressive back in middle, but the same is being done by Wecht, who's trying to get a quick pick back over from Connector. Will be losing a teammate, but trades it out swiftly. It's Wecht who's been tagged, and Mosea's there for the bag as well. This time not an overwhelming amount of presence over towards middle from GR, and they will be suffering the man disadvantage as a result of it.
Kaze even landed the tag as he was crossing out from Connector. Made that fight much easier there for Mosea. Salo still has at least some control in through middle, and that is the gap at the moment. Rare Adam vacating after their earlier pressure. We're linking up with two players over on A, but there are still two defenders alike. A lot of noise.
So much. Salo, for one, makes it two. Salo is again just the problem child over towards the A bomb site whenever he's allowed to lurk in for this long. Kami's been blocked out by a Molotov trying to cross over, but the smoke now used to extinguish. Saya and Kami, they need to be able to pull together at least one post one if they want to keep their hopes alive, but QQ on 9 HP is at the very least going to be able to cheat in once again for another chance that Kami will not relinquish this time. 24-24. This game is never ending.
I think Kami might be 3-1 in terms of 1v1 clutches being won. So it's kind of crazy that he comes back in for another. Didn't know where Kami was coming from, and that certainly hurts. Yeah, this is a map that is unending. Zoti number 4 now we're entering, I believe.
Listen, man, if my maths was good enough to figure that out, Michael, I'd be the color caster. Probably not, to be honest.
Yeah, no, we're entering number 4.
Okay, there you go. I wonder if, you know, on the HUD, they could just have, like, a secret Easter egg, like, whenever it goes to, like, 30-30, they just... You know how in Dota there is, like, the killing spree and the holy shit godlike? You know, just have one of those for overtime.
Or just like an announcer going,
yeah, like an announcer. It's like, overtime 2! Overtime spree!
Yeah, well, that makes you make it sound like we're Mortal Kombat. Round 4. Fight.
And then round 60, please finish him.
Yeah, no one can get that fatality just yet. In fact, there have been several bouts of humiliation, perhaps. 24-24, and this time there was a chance here for Wecht, who is, I think, really woken up in these overtimes, had more impact on that AWP, but won't even opt for it in this round. Mediocrity floored by a spot that he himself occupied many a times over on CT sides. Mose even took Palace from him. He knows that he's often there alone.
And the bomb is all the way back in T-spawn. Kaz is going to be naded down pretty heavily, but as long as he's not forced to give it the position, he's fine. QQ turns around at the worst possible timing. And they will not have possession of this bomb. It's about to be discovered by Mosea as well. Salo is going to still find the kill, despite Advent looking like he was teed up for it perfectly. And Mosea is unable to find the frag. Mercury connecting onto Wecht will at least still keep things in advantage. They've both got very low HP on the T side, and no one from CTs is actually looking to challenge at all. GR will be collectivizing though, so there's definitely a chance to turn this into a one-on-one at the very least, but with Kaze holding down the line, shots been missed. Salo re-peek back out over flashbang, and Kaze will not be blinded, he will not be stopped.
Kaze has no respect. He actually just, he re-peeks where so often, you know, we would see Kaze take that shot and play defensive. You know, he's definitely an AWPer that plays by the book so frequently, but with how little util they had, with the fact that there were only 2 players remaining, Kaze just took that duel, and with the game he's been having, why wouldn't you take more and more fights? The guy's got 48 kills, and he's been quick hitting on these flicks. Sometimes barely seeing players, and he's knocking them out.
Yakuza. Molotov on the Mercury, he's been playing from the underpass many times over. Mosea as well, a molly to try and force out the one-on-one. Will not be able to collect, and Salo pulls out a Molotov at the worst possible time. Mosea will be able to maintain his life as a result of it. Yakuza, though, finds a stray Kaze pushing through the smoke. Mercury was supposed to maybe even be there to cover. Instead, he's there to trade. Wecht found as Mosea will connect, and it's just falling apart for GR. Rare Adam chaining together 2 on their CT side.
Yeah, it's not over just yet, but it's looking like a done deal. Just a slaughter. So many frags back and forth in through middle, and we started to go back, we started to go forth, and then we stopped going back. But hey, QQ's got at least 1 more kill. AWP as well in his hands, and if Mosea decides to swing in from short, he would be in for a nasty surprise, but he still maintains sight lines on that package where QQ is still detached from it.
Position now given up as well. They've heard the scoping noise.
Yeah, it's just no chance to win this.
Yeah. Tommy as well doesn't even need it. Mosea is able to pull it off, and there you have it. QQ as well is getting closer and closer to that 40 mark himself, which is maybe a little bit less impressive now that you've got Kaze's 48 to compare to, but still a testament to how consistent he has been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think all 3 of them have just been kind of exchanging rounds where they have the influence, you know. I don't think either of them have really strayed too far as like 10 kills even, really to separate any of them at any given point. Yakuza, Mediocrity, QQ, all doing their damnedest. Hell, Sal's not even far behind. I don't think Wecht is either. The game's just been so long that we're getting 30s across the board. GR bombarded on the B play, and they get the double entry. Catme and Mosea dropped. There's Mercury here, quick round this smoke. But Mediocrity's holding out for it. An instant headshot. Mercury's still trying his best to clamor down these numbers before the retake, but he's keeping the pressure high.
AK picked up and he runs out of bullets as well, but he's not able to spray transfer. Wecht with a quick peek out on the AWP. Will make it even quicker work. Had him down.
Yeah, and Kaze floored as well. So it will be 2 rounds attained for Rare Adam on the CT side, which has been the harder side thus far for either team to collect on these 2 rounds in the overtimes. So fair to say, our favorites in this matchup now come in as favorites to this potentially final half of the overtimes. I mean, I say potentially.
I mean,
so far we're in overtime number 4, so
yeah.
For all intents and purposes, we could go for more.
Maybe like an announcer pack, right? Like you can get like the Jim Carrey announcer pack from the Master, like, oh, somebody stop him every time it's like another overtime.
Yeah, okay, I mean, it's not something that I would encourage. I mean, already music kits, at least you can turn them off. I guess you'd have to be able to turn off the announcers as well. Sound is just so important in this game.
True.
Be adding all this hubbabaloo. That's definitely not the phrase.
Indeed.
Hullabaloo, that's it.
Mm.
Definitely still a made-up word, but you know, you have to get it right.
All words are technically made up, so all good.
As long as they have meaning, they're valued.
Yeah, like susurrus. Someone definitely just thought, that sounds like a, you know, those trees, a rasa, yeah, that's what they sound like.
Yep, I know that word.
The bomb site is going to be once again just Salo all alone. Will have spotted out Mosea early on, and with that, maybe that util will be used as well. That Molotov wasn't even close.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a couple of times, actually. I think Rare Adam missed one as well towards the top mid boxes. Same kind of circumstance where they were jumping out from window to then mid floor, and I think just didn't have their crosshair in the right place. Well, chewing off a lot of time on this, and considering the start that we've frequently had, where it's been fast-paced aggression in towards middle, it's been a slow burner for Rare Adam execute on A. The initial bombardment of utility is siphoned by that smoke that GR Gaming were very timely about deploying, and Mosea as well trying to run interference. Mercury's finally cracked in.
Two players towards the mouth of connector will be a little bit harder to deal with as they start to try and crunch forward. The AWP is unable to find anything. Mercury gets whacked in the back, and QQ's the only one to actually chime in with a frag. Rare Adam starting to get closer and closer to knocking on to a massive lead, 27-25, as it is, I believe, 1 round away.
Yes.
Right, okay.
One more round would do it. And I think this is the most separation we've had from either squad since we've gotten into the OTs.
Would just like to point out as well, Kaz has got 51 kills.
Yeah, man. Look at him go.
Trying to go for an early peek over as well. Might be able to find it. Getting aggressive from behind. A Molotov, the grenade is what makes quicker work off, and Mediocrity happy to collect with just the utility, even if he is forced to use all of it early on. Advent is almost caught out as he tries to move back over to recover the AWP.
From look at him go to look at him gone. I mean, we hyped up Kami as well earlier in this broadcast, and then immediately he died the following round. And it feels like it happens. It's 100% confirmation bias, but maybe feeling himself a little too hard. Kaze definitely forceful about how he wanted to approach that opening pick. And nice, just solid counter utility from GR to prevent it. They do have at least a couple of swings at this. 27 is a target to tie. 28, our win. Wecht already holding in for Mosea. Frost, he was fast about it, but Wecht stuck around. He didn't fire off his shot. He didn't back off. He was not fearful of losing that duel. But Yakuza could find the counter. Mosea turns in time. And now suddenly, Rare Adam in with a man advantage. Mediocrity is clamoring one right back, but they're in through ramp.
Tommy needs to find a little bit more action over here. There's no one back in CT, which is what he was trying to hold out for. QQ is gone as well. Advent and Kami, not the players you want in a 2-on-2, but Kami is the one you'll get. Mediocrity's quad kill is exactly what they needed to be able to catapult back into it. It looked like GR Gaming was going to be losing control once Mosea had activated the way he did. But turns out Mosea's not the only one to get 40 kills in that round. Mediocrity comes out as well.
Yeah, he'd fallen a little bit behind. You know, QQ had been sinking away into the lead with the kill counts. But yeah, just a very impactful 4K. They were at a deficit for a while in that round, but Mediocrity didn't let it sit for too long. Whacked. Oh, dangerous peek. He even jumped in from low ground to high instead of just holding for it normally. And Kaze was already pinned in on the angle. They start a man down. Just to force us to another overtime. This game was in their clutches in regulation, 14-8.
Yeah.
We've had to go through 3 overtimes. This is our 4th. And to think this might be the way that this all goes up in flames for the GR Gaming side. This they're picking the series, and Inferno will be a tall mountain to climb when we get there.
Only Mediocrity on the A-bomb side is good for the first one, and right as he drops, makes it 2. Maybe it's still him who can make it all happen. Advent will put him down, but he's bought time and space for his teammates to come over. Deep Molotov will not be finding Advent. Yakuza's also blocked off from pushing through the smoke, and Salo, as involved as he would like to be, it is still going to be disabled. Yakuza discovered, but discovery leads to death for Advent. Kami, the next to fall. Kaze, the only man left, needs to go for the full 55 if he wants to win out this game here and now. No jiggle peeks, no nothing. Peeks back out over. QQ God is just trying to keep him occupied. And as Kaze goes back for the solitary shot, he will find it is once again an equalization. 27-27. GR Gaming will not let this go.
That's our 4th overtime concluded, which means we need to at least give ourselves a little bit of breathing rooms. Oh, we actually don't have a break, I've been informed. Yeah. They've been really fast about how they've been bouncing between the overtimes. Usually the players like to step away from their PC for a second, refill some water, you know, refresh themselves. But these guys have been pretty quick, all things considered. They ignored our last break, put it that way.
Yeah. That was the reason why I came back and went, one round's already crossed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame them for it. This entire game has gone on a lot longer than you would expect, but this was supposed to start 2 hours and 15 minutes ago?
Yep. Oh. We started 15 minutes late, so it has been basically a 2-hour game.
Hard to remember what the time was.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, though. Don't think Rear Adam would have been expecting this one.
Certainly was expecting this game to be closer than some of the others we have going on this week, but yeah, maybe not this close. I was expecting maybe like a 16-13 win for either one of these teams, probably Rare Adam. But GR have really been stepping up. I mean, this is definitely one of the harder teams you have to face within your group, and they are testing them every step of the way.
QQ God, once again, called to order, but he's not able to find the frags this time over. Salo needs to be the one to come in and activate. He's been so good as a B-side anchor. With the smoke down, it's Mercury who's circled in from around him. Molotov out as well, will be tagged up from the spam from Mediocrity, but there's still no way for the CTs to get back in onto this bomb site.
Smoke down, Mercury isolated, and there's no way that Advent could have helped him. Not yet. Yakuza even missing his shots, but Advent missing even wider. Whacked a 1-on-2 and very hard to break them out of these positions. But Kami has no sight lines on, doesn't need it. Kaze, a no-scope to finish off business. And it's the first round to break through in overtime number 5 for Rare Adam. Excellent space taking there from Mercury as well on that B play. A weird call from Rare Adam, considering we haven't seen them actually go for any of these sort of fast B splits in prior rounds. Mainly we saw GR try to accomplish that, and most of the time those failed. But GR actually had 2 players on the right side of the map. You know, we didn't see them play with only one anchoring or, you know, one deep committed towards the apartments and the other sort of floating kitchen. They were actually both committed side, but they just couldn't slow them.
Yeah, QQ not finding any kills was definitely something that made it a lot more difficult. Mercury. Flashbang through. Mercury's only good for the one. Will be able to keep himself alive. Wecht will miss out on the shot through the smoke. Salo pushing all the way forward. Will be able to get the adjustment as well. Kami just not ready to collect on the frag. And what looked like Rare Adam was in a great situation is instead now a 2-on-4.
I feel like he just juked him out with how unprepared Salo looked to then all of a sudden just flick headshotting him. I mean, thought he maybe had an extra second to line up the crosshair. 2-on-4.
Kami's unfortunately not been able to get the same amount of impact in overtime. Again, cannot expect it from him, but I think he ended regulation with like 26 or 27 kills.
I think it was 27 kills, yeah. But
yeah.
He had at least like 8 or 9 kills ahead of Mosaic and Mercury, respectively.
Yeah.
And now they're, you know, 40, hitting 40s now, so it's kind of the way that you want things to go in traditional circumstances.
Swatted out, but they're not expecting QQ to be taking the off angle next to window. Kaze all alone. Now will falter. GR will remain neck to neck, as has been the case consistently.
Yeah, attaining CT rounds has been the more difficult task, but even when Rare Adam got there too, GR were able to accomplish the same goal. That's why we end up in overtimes. You know, it's kind of mathematically how these things pan out. If Wecht can continue to have this influence in the overtimes, he's certainly been more reliable, but has sometimes been in the wrong places to succeed. This time a more heavily cluttered up B-side play. They run straight through the util. Mosaic down to 7 HP and still leading the way in terms of finding the entry. QQ already dispatched them, and Sal around the smoke. He'll try to be elusive, but Mosaic finds him as well. Yeah, oh, the AWP even misses. I thought for sure they'd land the trade, but 29 looks like a surety here for Rare Adam.
Poor Wecht, man. That angle just doesn't like it.
I can't believe that.
Gosh, mediocre.
Awfully first.
We'll be able to pick up a few more kills at the very least, but a 1-on-5 is just impossible. Surely Advent can just make quick work of him, and indeed, GR Gaming will not be able to do anything over there. Salo seems like he's finally being found out a little bit. He's been going for a very similar playbook consistently on his CT side, which is just the bench jump spot and then quick smoke down and then try and stay inside of it. It really looked like Rare Adam was making a concerted effort to target him in that round. The kills that come through afterward from Isaiah are just a cherry on top.
It actually looks like good recognition in general from Rare Adam from that particular overtime, because, you know, we saw a number of rounds previously where they've been able to cross a player towards the deep right side of top middle, you know, past the boxes with the, I guess, the fountain. And they've, I mean, GR have got caught out by that position like 4 or 5 rounds prior. They, again, in one of these rounds of the overtime, get Mercury there and it has the same level of impact. And this time they, like you said, targeted Salo for his tendencies, you know, playing the same way. Eventually they will try and counteract you, punish your lack of creativity.
Because adjustment's not quite there. Advent finds that one. Mercury as well. A little bit more damage inside connector. Molotov to displace the T side, and it's Salo who's been forced through the smoke. He's making a beeline back for CT, and Advent caught out of the reload. Maybe there's a chance for Salo to activate, and indeed, Advent is just gone. Mosaic stayed alive back in Sandwich will be good for one, but traded out all too quickly. Wecht will make short work over there, and as the smoke for connector will follow through, Kaze will have no chances of collecting on any of these crossing players.
Worst part about that for Advent is he probably had the heads up that it was a player coming, but let's see if they can rectify that mistake. Kami already gone. Salo able to convert on at least a couple of kills. Nade could finish him off. The molly actually funneled him away from that nade. That could have been an absolute sitter. But now Kaze leading the way, and that AWP will strike. QQ still inside of the site and actually spun the top of the head. They knew where Wecht was. It's now just down to QQ for 75 HP, but caught between two angles, and Mercury will floor him. Finally, we call Mirage to a close. It's GR's pick, but Rare Atom win it.
Isn't it 31?
Oh my god, no, we go to
Yeah,
31.
I
I'm
was
losing
a little
control of
bit-
my maths
yeah.
now. I'm losing control of my maths.
I was just like, am I just wrong?
Maybe I'm too hopeful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, finally we do get a retake on the A-bomb side to work for Rare Atom, though. You know, that hadn't been happening for a while.
I think part of why my brain went there is because we definitely saw GR try some really desperate maneuvers coming out from that. You know, Yakuza just clear walking out of Palace,
though,
and now
Michael.
just running up straight through middle.
Yeah, because I shot that a couple of times. Good trying to go straight up short, but these past few, it just hasn't worked quite well for him. Mosaic as well in behind the smoke. QQ found out Mosaic, takes him down. Mosaic going for more. Sallow's got nothing to offer, and now, perhaps now, they have a chance, but Wecht has been given one for free. Mosaic out in celebration in the streets. Not ready to be mugged down there by Wecht.
Are they going to make the right call? Are they going to stack the right site? Only two that remain, and they could very well separate the two vets, the older gentlemen of the Rare Atom squad, and they will say their goodbyes and good lucks to one another. 1 minute for Wecht to make his move. He can chew this one all the way down to the very thin linings.
None of them silver. Advent? Oh no. Maybe there is a silver lining here. Advent's going all the way back out to mid, and that gives Wecht the advantage in the angle. But he's not going to be holding in for it. 31 HP. He's not going to be making it easier either. Wecht needs just a straight headshots, and as he's starting to cross back over, Advent exposes himself. Kaze as well reroutes back over to the B-bomb site. And as Advent strafes out, Rare Atom will finally come through with the game.